Howdy YouTube, this is your host CT Rob with the Dark Frenchman Steve.
Yo.
And Squid.
Hey everybody.
And our correspondent out in Cali, Lucas Maximus.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And you're watching the Minute Man Podcast here on YouTube. So let's get started with today's show. So we were actually discussing off air before we came on all the crazy things that Kanye West is saying, and as all our listeners and hopefully viewers know, Lucas Maximus actually hasn't been on the show with us, so welcome back, Luke.
Hey guys.
And so I actually want to get Lucas Maximus's, partake on the Kanye West controversy right now.
So, let's first off, I want to just say the basics. I am so shocked that this borderline psychotic pseudomania that sausage fan would like Trump. I mean, they're so seemingly different and incompatible. Oh my God. But no, I think it's very embarrassing in my opinion from both sides. First, let's start with the conservatives. Because they spent their entire time, they spent almost most of their, a good deal of their arguments against the left, saying that, Hollywood liberals, they're these out of touch.
Yeah.
You don't need celebrities bashing real America.
And they jump all over it.
Exactly. The second any celebrity even gives them lip service, it's all over. It's just dogpile. They can't even get enough of it. There was a news article. Charlie Kirk, a little twerp who runs Turning Point USA, he was scheduled, him and his the co-owners of Turning Point USA, was a young conservative nonprofit group in colleges. They were scheduled for a conference, a speech at a conference, to which both the Turning Point people ditched the conference because they were having a meeting with Kanye West. Literally an example of them abandoning their own followers for the sake of hanging out with a shitty celebrity.
Did you guys hear that Kanye West and apparently Colin Kaepernick are going to have a meeting with Trump?
No.
It's supposed to, yeah, apparently the reports are going, it's supposed to be just a photo op. That's all Trump wants to make it, because it's going to be on, get this, race relations. What? So they're getting Colin Kaepernick, which, hey, okay. And Kanye West.
Yeah, that's just they threw him in because of
again, it's so weird that people are continuing to treat Kanye as if he is a great thinker. I mean, even if you think his music is kind of politically conscious, which really not. It's smart. It's better than the usual trap. But Kanye has always been a fame-hungry kind of psycho.
Oh yeah.
His music has never particularly been of substance. Yes, he's popular, and I think that might have to.
See, I think you have a big disagreement here with CT Steve, the Dark Frenchman Steve.
I definitely do.
He loves Kanye.
Honestly,
his music.
No, he's one of the. We had the disagreement on the last show about him being one of the worst rappers. I think Rob said that. But no, he's
definitely not that.
He's not.
He's definitely one of
I just said I didn't think he was up there with Trump. Sorry, I didn't think he was up there with Biggie and Tupac.
I think Kanye's a little bit overrated.
No, I mean
that's what
I do think he's
can
overrated.
See where people see that, but technically, you're just wrong. I mean, he's had some of the greatest albums
wrong
of this generation.
You're just technically wrong.
But I brought up the whole thing about Kanye West is known for his political outstance on things that happen. The whole what was the main thing that he said? It was George Bush don't care about black people on national television. That was the main thing that got him, known as oh my God, he'll just say whatever he wants and not care. But as far as what he's saying now, I can't really comment on it. It's disappointing, but if people are going to think that one black guy or just one black person in general sums up the black community, is kind of irrelevant in that sense. But he's entitled to his opinion, just like anybody else in America is. No matter how stupid, he's just another one of those people that you just add to the stupid pile of saying things. He's just a rich person saying it. That's really all he's doing. He's I'm speaking for
a rich person with a famous giant ego.
Yeah. I mean, he's had that giant ego, but now he's I have the money to kind of cushion my falls. That's why he doesn't really want to live within the society and the realms and the norms. He's just hey, I'm rich, and I'll just say what I want, and there really won't be any repercussions, and people are praising him.
I think he's just insane.
Yeah, and that too.
Well, there's an aspect to this I think is also you need to consider that I remember the initial comments were pretty benign, but then it got a huge reaction. Part of me thinks that he realized that, him starting talking nice about Trump has gotten this huge.
His sales are down, I believe, last reported.
I mean, I'm not saying he's doing it just because of, I don't think he's like lying about Trump. I think on some level, maybe.
No, we explained this. He's rich.
Yeah,
he's rich.
That's all. He's rich. He doesn't care.
Anything, like he definitely realizes that if he leans into this, like his normal fans, they're not going to care one way or the other. And any fans he loses along the way, he's just going to get more by like embracing the MAGA chud.
Yeah,
definitely, most definitely.
And it won't lower his profile anymore because now the newspapers and magazines and the bloggers they won't shut up about him.
Yeah, he's Kanye West, regardless of how crazy he is. He's going to be Kanye West at the end of the day. So him wearing a MAGA hat doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah. There was one thing I also want to talk about because I said it, both sides were a little bit embarrassing, and I think we need to also go after liberals a little bit because they've been so genuinely devastated by this, and it's really. I mean, at this point, we had the whole Me Too movement where basically everybody famous and cool turned out to be a rapist, and we had to come to like. I feel this is definitely a point because Kanye, by liking Trump, isn't necessarily as bad as admitting to be a rapist, but I feel that. This should have been the time for people, especially liberals who claim to believe in nuance and as artistic expression, to kind of say like, oh, I can just separate myself from the art, from the person. I can enjoy the music. I don't necessarily have to enjoy this person and his personal view. Instead, they kind of turned it into we got to save Kanye, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
They're like, if we lose Kanye, the nation is lost.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. He definitely is an integral part in it because he has such a large platform, but he's not the entire community.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. There will definitely be a lot of sort of apolitical people that will probably kind of see this now and think, oh, maybe it's okay to like Trump in a way, and it might normalize it a little bit. And I think that again. Once you take it against all of the normal...
Hey, man, it's all about the MAGA, man. All that MAGA.
So, yeah, I think everybody treated this weirdly. Like, how are we shocked that Kanye might do something fucking crazy and weird?
Yeah, I know. I'm not... yeah, he's always been like that. When you can name your child North and get away with that...
Now their newest kid, Chicago West.
Yeah.
It's also not like the death knell for woke art or woke hip hop anymore. Like, we're probably going to talk about the Childish Gambino music video later. But right. That kind of ties into some other thoughts I have. But we can move on.
But what if this is Kanye's West's first movement to move towards like a Howard Hughes situation? Him just going crazy and start being paranoid.
Well, what was it? So there was the TMZ meltdown where he claimed that slavery was a choice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But some of the other comments I think got lost were the fact that he admitted he had liposuction because
right.
Yeah. That was weird.
And he was addicted to opioids.
That was so weird.
I mean, I was just going, what is this guy on, man?
He's probably on opioids. He probably went there, stopped out of his mind.
He's like, I am Kanye West, and I am high as a motherfucking kite.
But just so you know, I'm high on opioids right now, and I have an opioid problem.
He literally flat out admitted that that he got a prescription of opioids for his surgery and just fucking lost his goddamn mind.
Right.
He's an admitted addict, like right now. We know he had drinking problems. He had a full-on mental...
Dude, he's rich. Get fucking therapy, man. That's all I can say. You got money. Get fucking therapy. You got so much money, you can name your kid North and the other one Chicago West because you know they're never going to face any kind of criticism in the schools they're going to go to because they're rich.
They're never going to have to worry about
Yeah, exactly.
But definitely there's obvious red flags here.
Yeah.
I don't know how it ends. It's probably not going to be good for Kanye. That's how it's going to happen.
Most definitely.
And it's so freaking weird that
it is.
In 2000, at this point in my head, I'm like, how the hell is one of the only normal celebrities in this world, Kim Kardashian, anymore. Like, where are we at?
Right.
I know.
I'm just thinking,
weird.
thank God we still have Kim. Thank God we got
Oh, Luke.
All right. So let's moving on. So I don't know if you guys seen this next story. I actually personally love it because no one's talking about this, and it needs to be talked about. So there's a new report entitled "More Cases of Federal Workers Watching Porn on the Job." The News 14 reveals more instances of federal workers watching porn while at work or on government-issued devices. So
man.
Yeah. So dozens of federal workers' abundance of porn on the job, despite increasing efforts by federal managers to filter and monitor internet usage. Federal workers continue to gain access to illicit images on government-issued computers. In one recent case, investigators found a Federal Trade Commission worker in Washington, D.C. made 26,000 searches for the term sex, nude, or Asian. And another Amtrak employee in Maryland downloaded more than 100 sexually explicit images after conducting searches for hot girls in knee-highs and redheads stocking garter. You know, all I have to say about some of those searches, at least they're actually, gentlemanly.
Stocking garter, though? What?
I know what I searched for, and it's not that.
I can get the redheads, but the stocking garters? What?
There's kind of a...
Hold on. Go ahead, Luke.
I said the Amtrak thing is interesting because I feel like if you're an Amtrak engineer, you're like the only person in that like conductor room. Yeah, duh, what are you gonna do? You got nothing else.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, why are you angry? Why are you mad at these people who are looking at porn and not sexually harassing their coworker?
That is so true. Like, if the guy's by himself in the conductor's, like he's going down a road, he's like,
this road is long
I'm putting my hand down my pants.
and hard.
Oh my God.
Just like the train tracks I'm on.
I'm going to get it in before, let me get a good one in, you know what I mean? Make my train.
I just think it's kind of funny how we have to, like, they're investigating this. It's like just as if, no duh, people look at porn when they're at work. I mean, God. Go ahead.
But with the stockings or the knee highs, I mean, there's kind of like a fetish with knee highs.
Well, duh, we talked about all the fetish porn, man.
There's all those fetishes, but man, to see knee highs,
that's why I said those are very gentlemanly searches.
I know.
Because I know what pops
like
up.
A very middle-aged man search right there. That is not no young people search.
No, that's like mid-40s.
You're looking at 50. You're looking at knee highs.
Okay. So let's move on, actually, guys. Did you guys see Trump's pick for CIA director?
Yeah.
Gina Hasbel. I mean, we've discussed this on the show. I mean, I know Lucas Maximus has a huge, expression for this lady. I mean, he wrote an article on the website. You guys can check it out on MinutemenWordPress.com about how this woman basically is almost, she can't really go to some parts of Europe because she's going to be charged for murder.
Straight psychopath.
Man. I just want to kind of like lay it out there for some people who don't know. I mean, Gina Hasbel has let rape happen under her watch. She's let waterboarding happen under her watch. People have been murdered for that. All right, people have been murdered for that. She's let the people, detainees get buried in boxes, starve them, sleep deprive them. When she was faced with these allegations too, she actually caught getting rid of the physical evidence, which were tapes of her committing these acts.
She was caught.
Yeah.
Wow.
But there is no evidence, so, some people, she should be in jail. And, she also lied to the intelligence community at that. They gave false information about Iraq having weapons of mass destruction because, as we all know, when someone's being tortured, repeatedly, they give the right information. It's kind of like, the Black Plague back in the day when they blamed the Jews for the Black Death. I'm actually surprised people don't blame more Jews for the Black Death because, hey, they admitted it under torture, right? I mean, by American standards, that is a credible admission of guilt. They got a bunch of Jews together. They gave them pouches and said, "You took this pouch and you poisoned the well, right?" Tortured the crap out of them. They were like, "Yeah, that's what happened."
Though in fairness, there are plenty of people that probably blame the Jews for the war in Iraq. Because,
True.
So.
Yeah, true. Well, the whole Zion, we've already discussed this on the show. The idea of Zionism is just insane to me. It just completely, utterly blows my mind to think that, a race of people like, Jews that almost got wiped out over, they've literally been almost wiped out systematically over centuries. No matter what century it is, they've always been a scapegoat for everything. and people still think these people are ruling the world.
Yeah, they're on top. I love that.
It's like, what?
They're on top of everything. Okay.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh, they were ruling the medieval era, then they were ruling Nazi Germany, and right now they're ruling the news media too. It's like, God, by being massacred, they are getting somewhere, you know.
Yo, man, for a race that never was, you know, it's like, God, those Jewish people, surely they know how to get up, right? I mean, Jesus.
But back
Literally
to this, though. You know, Gina Hasbel. I mean, you know, she's gonna get confirmed. I just have that feeling she's gonna get confirmed. I mean,
actually speaking on the show.
But I mean, I think there are going to be some Democrats who decide to go against her and not vote for her to be.
No.
You don't think so?
I think, yeah. I mean, again, when we talk about the vast majority of the intelligence community, you know, their thoughts on torture is pretty unanimous. I mean, I suspect there will be a couple of Democrats that are going to kind of get wishy-washy. But again, the long and short of it is that most of the federal government and then at least a good portion of the U.S. population are absolutely fine with torture. Like, again, it's an absolute uphill climb on this issue.
Right.
It's a straight up brick wall in some cases. But you have to tell them, well, yeah. So a lot of these people, they weren't actually terrorists. They were just people who got ratted out by other people because they wanted to reward.
Yeah.
And then they were tortured. And then, of course, the very memo that the CIA tried to use to, like, exonerate themselves, they admitted that, yeah, they didn't get any good intel from the non-stop torture. In fact, in many cases, the only reason they did the torture was because some of them were just so pissed off about 9/11. Like, it was just pure bloodlust revenge. And you can explain this to them. You can explain to a person until you're blue in the face. They will just stare at you blown. They just shrug their shoulders like, well, you know, I don't want to be soft on terrorism. And that's the long and short of it.
And I think some of the ideas cultivated, and I hate to say this, through movies and films and books, this idea that, you know, someone's going to bust in your house and just take your kids, like taking stats, and you're going to have to track them down. You're going to have to torture them. You're going to have to torture them. Yet they've had documentations and, you know, people in the CIA that say the best form of getting anywhere is giving them what they want. You know, they tell them, they say, you know, hey, what do you want? You want to be American? You want your kids to go to school? You want to have more money? That gets more, you know, information than pulling teeth out.
Right. If we want to talk about, like, stupid things, pre-Trump, one of the big ones will always strike me was that during an actual presidential debate, I can't even remember if it was Republicans or Democrats, it was like, okay, so say there's a bomb that's about to go off in Los Angeles, and you have the terrorist,
right?
And you have only 24 hours to get the location.
Yeah.
You think torture is like, oh, you are talking about a scene from 24. You think 24 will happen? What? I mean, it's completely, it blows my mind that somebody was literally citing like a fictional, like a truly fictional scenario. They might as well have just been like, okay, what if you find out that Superman is real? What? Like, you wake up the next morning and you're a giant hot dog. Would you eat yourself? That's about the level of plausibility. That's how smart that question was. But
yeah. God, that's funny. Oh God. All right, let's move on a little bit. Go ahead.
Last point was the funny one was where some people were like, well, she'll be the first female director of the CIA. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, of course.
Back to wokeness, and you know, you do your clap back. More female torturers, you know.
Right. And where, you know, what the, you know, what the fuck's going on with all the self-described libertarians out there, man? I mean, what the fuck is going on? Like, where's all the Rand Pauls? You know, you heard Rand Paul be like, I'm gonna be tough on Pompeo. I'm gonna be tough, and then he's like, yeah, he's in.
Right.
I mean, what the hell happened, man?
You know, keep in mind that the libertarians are too busy making sure people can say the N-word on YouTube.
Right.
That's their big fight.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
Right. All right, so let's move on, because I got kind of a horrific story. I don't know if you guys heard about this. So Fox News, you guys remember the Fox News running the Seth Rich conspiracy? We've discussed this. We've debunked this on our show. Go back and listen to the episodes if you haven't seen it. We've debunked this several times. So Fox News has actually filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit. And get this, they actually told the family they should just be grateful that the news network even helped them.
Yeah.
They should be for how the network even slandered him. Yeah. So after this, they ran with the story. It was dismissed, over and over repeatedly. And right now, Fox News is saying, hey, they should just be grateful we even looked into it for you. So they kind of slapped the family in the face there.
Yeah, that's not even I don't even know if that's called entitlement. I don't even know what a word that can describe that. That's barbaric, man. That is like cynical as all get out. Just to be like, be grateful that you got help. It's like, are we even? This is America, right? It's what do we have to do to? It's like they keep this whole thing. It always goes back to him, but he's the president. The whole America First thing and making it greater. How can you make it great if you just don't give a shit about your people?
Right.
It's like, you just treat them anyways. By the way, Fox News is like praised by the president. So this is the only source of mass media that isn't fake news to him. That goes, publicly goes out and just says some stuff like that. Like, just like, hey, be grateful.
And, Oliver DeCry apparently says, in a motion to dismiss the lawsuit filed by this is on Twitter, by Seth Rich's parents, Fox News says some readers may walked away from its retracted story believing Seth Rich was a hero because its story portrayed him as a patriotic whistleblower. Right?
Good.
It's like, hey, we may have lied about him, but we made him look good in those lies, okay?
Yeah. Right? It's like, listen, I just gave you a compliment that your son is part of a weird conspiracy theory.
That was pushed by the White House, that was deep fried in tinfoil in a government conspiracy twice over.
Yeah, it's such a crazy situation. I mean, there's really not much to say other than I really hope the family wins out on this. Obviously, Fox News is a huge corporation. It'll be hard for them to kind of like keep up the momentum. But I would say no amount of money can really retract what Fox News. And again,
it's Fox News.
Fox News it doesn't really matter because now it's out there. It's out in the open, and enough of their fans already are going to believe it. I suspect 1 out of 4, and that's actually being conservative. If you ask 1 out of 4 Fox News viewers, you're like, "What do you know about Seth Rich?" They'll just be like, "Well, I know he's pretty shady, and he probably got killed by Hillary."
Exactly. That's all they would say. Hillary Clinton murdered him. And cold blood.
That's cool.
You wouldn't even be able to tell them. You wouldn't even be able to explain, well, yeah, Fox News then retracted their statement because it was wrong. It's like, oh, that's just the deep state that got to them. So, yeah, again, a conspiracy theory is basically unkillable in some sense. Obviously, you can marginalize them enough. You can, dismiss it. And you can just sort of wait it out until most people who get attracted lose interest and move on to the next thing. But there's always going to be people there because a conspiracy theory you can't prove. It's basically trying to prove a negative.
Yeah.
If you say there is no conspiracy theory, you're like, well, that's just that's just a conspiracy. That's just the cover up. And if there's no evidence of that cover up, well, then there was another cover up. There's no breaking that. And now that's how Seth Rich's legacy is going to be remembered for a large portion of this country, as this whistleblower to a situation that is absolutely fabricated.
Yep.
It's ghoulish, but again, Fox News
is ghoulish.
They do a lot of ghoulish things. I mean, they're just what they're doing now with the Trump administration with the long-term effects.
I know they're ruling the country right now. Fox and Friends might as well be the freaking the Senate in Rome.
I mean, it really is evocative. I'm trying to remember of a good. I mean, it just really does feel. I hate. It's so cliche to say it's dystopian, but the idea that this really friendly morning news show with smiling faces essentially dictates these terms that are going to...
No, it's spooky.
They with a big old smile on their face, strip people of their rights and...
Oh, yeah.
...in foreign countries that have access. It's like... it's a comic book villain scenario, but it's happening right now.
It's like, how do you sleep at night? Oh, I'm sure they sleep very comfortably in their,
very well.
$1 million beds.
On my money,
but it's just like, I hope your dreams haunt you. I hope you have awful dreams.
Plus, that's like another reason why I don't watch Fox News. I'm like, so they're a bunch of hypocrites. Like, why would you want to watch something that has people who do this? I mean, like, oh, like I'm sorry, I'm gonna backtrack with this, but with North Korea, when Trump or back when Obama was trying to meet with Kim Jong Il, they
gross.
So much hate for him. Like,
it made him weak. He's weak.
Can you believe going on apology tour for America? That's not America. That's not what America does.
But now, Trump's the greatest. Look at him go.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, dude. They did the same thing to the first lady. Like when Melania Trump went to when Michelle Obama went to Saudi Arabia, she didn't wear the garments.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh my God, can you believe her? She does not respect culture. She does not respect their culture." Then when Melania does it, they're like, "You see, standing up for women's rights."
Bunch of hypocrites.
It's the same thing, man. It's also, I'm sure, Luke, I don't know if you wanted to touch base on this. We actually didn't get a chance to, but it's like what Michelle Wolf did, man. It's like everybody was so offended by what she said. Now, some of the jokes, I agree, were not appropriate for that setting, especially at dinner. The abortion jokes were not appropriate at dinner. I don't care what you say.
I don't know.
I'm just saying they weren't appropriate at dinner. I didn't say they weren't funny. I just said they're not appropriate at dinner.
Don't order the lasagna then when you're eating
dinner. Anyway, this idea that it's like both the government and the six-figure, corporate press, they just have like a big buddy chum, elbows, and it kind of comes down to this idea that as much as these people bleed and bray on the media or like CNN, like, oh, Trump, he's gone too far. It's like at the end of the day, they're all going to the same six-figure penthouse and condos.
Right.
They're all going to the same luxury dinners and all that, and they don't really, and they're doing absolutely nothing to check and balance the government at all, just because it's like they're cushy.
They're enjoying the show. They're enjoying what they're reaping, the benefits they're reaping from it.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they post all that. Again, that's why Stormy Daniels has gotten more traction than any of the Russian stuff, because the Russian stuff is damning. But then again, the idea of a porn star that sells newspapers. Quote unquote. That sells ad space. That's good TV. The people, they want to see Trump in hot water with a porn star. They don't care about they don't care about this white collar crime and embezzlement with Russian oligarchs they've never heard of.
Right. So, they haven't. I've said this on a show before, that they have not once used her real name. Her stage name is Stormy Daniels, and they only refer to her as a porn star. They don't say adult film actress. They don't call her by her real name. If they're taking this seriously, they're like, "Oh, Stormy Daniels." You know what I mean? That's like if I don't even know.
Well, it's kind of funny if you say that. They actually, I saw that on the news. They were literally saying she's a liar automatically. And all this, and somebody actually said, just because she's a porn star doesn't make her any less of a person.
Yeah, they look down upon. See, that's the thing. It's the hypocritical stance of where she's a porn star, so they automatically think she's the lowest of the low. She's straight garbage, and then how can that be affiliated with the president, which is up higher than anything? It's the top seat of the of the country. Yeah. So,
but what gets me though is some of the pundits that went on TV. Some of the things they said were oh my God, I was so offended by what Michelle Wolf said. I walked out of the dinner. It's are you fucking kidding me, dude?
First of all, it's a dinner.
The grabbing women by the pussy doesn't offend you. I don't even wait and I grab them by the pussy. That offends you less than what she said?
And the middle of a sexual assault too.
Yeah. The truth is though that hypocrisy never
rests.
It never lands. Simple put, if you accuse somebody of hypocrisy, that doesn't, because especially with team sports, I mean, you tell these Republicans that it's this and this and this and this, and they'll just and it doesn't matter because again, the other side does that too. So it does. So they might as well just keep going with the person that they agree with.
Football politics.
And it's always really been that way. I think.
Well, there was actually just a report, and I don't have it in front of me. I just read it, too. They were actually talking about how politics has literally become that. It's become a sport of my team versus your team. Policy doesn't matter. Yeah. Red and blue matter.
Yep, exactly. And because, again, it doesn't matter what your team does, because again, you want that side to win. Again, I even felt this way a little bit with Al Franken. Back when that news came out, I was kind of like on the fence. I'm like, well, yeah, I know we've all been wanting other people to kind of step down, but Franken,
he's actually not a bad guy.
Because it's like Franken has good policies.
Exactly.
And you can kind of think is the grit. And so you do have to kind of think about it from that perspective. If you are a conservative, it doesn't really matter what Trump's personality is. Because you want him to do what he says he's going to do. You want the wall. You want tighter. You want more national security. You want more white.
I just want to have MAGA, man. I just want to invite everyone to that MAGA town hall, man. We got the official red hats, man. I mean, they're not MAGA hats, man, but they're official red hats, man. Because I couldn't afford it after the town hall, man.
That's exactly it.
There's a lot of symbolism in that.
The hypocrisy doesn't matter, and especially with Fox News, because again, most people who watch Fox News, they only watch that, or they watch, or they go to adjacent websites like Breitbart.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. I've had people tell me if you don't watch Fox News, then you're not really watching the news, literally. And all I say is, if that's your only source for news, you're doing something wrong, not me, buddy.
I mean, you are literally having like shit being poured into your eyes. It's like if you are watching Fox News, there are objective studies to show that you are less informed than someone that doesn't watch any news. Like you're watching negative news. I guess fake news, but like you are watching
alternative facts.
You're watching, and again, back to Seth Rich. If you just watch Fox News, you probably wouldn't even notice when they had to retract the statement about the conspiracy, and if there's many other stories that they do like that. So there is.
Hold on, Luke.
The surface of most of.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
They haven't even scratched the surface of all the scandals that are going on with Trump. And I mean, and why would they?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they love him.
So that's all it comes down to.
I don't even think they necessarily love him. I think they just love the conservative audience that they have. It doesn't matter what he does, as long as they play for Republicans.
It's all about actually, that's a good point, because remember, early on when Trump was still running, most of Fox News really hated Trump.
Yeah, they really did.
And they did, and obviously they did so because they thought he was going to destroy the Republican Party.
Yeah.
But now that he's the head of the Republican Party, guess what? You have to toe the line.
Gotta get with that MAGA.
Exactly. There was even another news story about there was a Red State, redstate.com, it's a conservative website. They essentially purged a group of writers, who work for them purely because they didn't support Trump enough. And I think that's happened with another with smaller conservative media outlets. The line has been towed. The what's the word? The party message has become clear. And if you don't toe the party line,
get
out. It's Trump. Republicans are Trump. This is the party of Trump.
And we kind of stumbled into this now, our next story, and actually the story I was going to get to. So did you guys hear what Michael Cohen and all this, how his shell company flowed money to pay these porn stars off?
Oh, yeah.
There's apparently more women.
Yeah.
There is apparently more women.
It was said, kind of rumored before this happened with the whole Stormy Daniels, but now it's like...
Well, not only that, but some of these were from Russian oligarchs, too, this money that was flowed in, too.
Yeah.
So this is actually a kind of a big deal that just happened here. Now you actually have connection of money going from Trump, to Russia, through Michael Cohen. Which is interesting, because I have a different perspective on this, and this is what I'm hoping. And the Minuteman Podcast is hoping this. I'm hoping that these other women, happen to be the Russian prostitutes that he represents.
Which Russian prostitutes are you talking about?
And being the bodyguard, saying, yes, they did go to his room. We have the 50-50 there. Then there was others, confirmation that he was in fact there when he said he was there. Some of the other women, I believe there was a Hungarian prostitute that came over. She was a model, sorry. She was a model and said, yeah, Trump actually accosted her for, sex, gave her his number to go to his room and stuff. And this was a day after he said he left.
He left. He was
supposed to be gone. So I'm just kind of hoping these prostitutes are the one that peed on Donald Trump.
Oh man. I'm telling you, if that's the story
Or
that
peed on the bed.
if that's the
Whatever.
story
I
that
hope it's
breaks
on
the-
Donald Trump.
Seriously, if that's the one that breaks his back and brings him
What if
down,
that is what brings him down?
I don't know what
God.
to say after that. If that's the
insane.
story that actually
Wraps up
gives
everything.
it
It's not the
Cohen's
Russia
like
stuff.
case
It's
closed.
not the anything else. It's just this pissgate.
Mueller sits him down
Pissgate
finally.
part
Is like,
two.
listen,
We have the
Pissgate,
tape.
We've got the tape.
We've got the tape.
That's it.
We've got the tape.
You know that would be in the annals of history. Like
Oh my
kids would be reading about.
There would be like 4, made-for-TV movies, one motion picture starring James Woods as Robert Mueller, and that would be in the trailer definitely.
Where's the piss?
We've got the tape, Mr. President. They've got the tape.
Oh God. Okay.
like Trump, the golden truth.
So this is the scenario. Mueller comes in front of like a press conference. It's like 100 people. It's like, ladies and gentlemen, we have the tape.
All the
What tape would that be? You see all the flashes. What tape would that be? It'd be like the P tape, the PP tape.
Those exact words.
Sean Hannity will do one of two things. He will either straight up Bud Dwyer live on TV. Bud Dwyer. Oh yeah, he's the guy that shot himself on camera.
Yeah.
He'll do that, or his opening statement will be like, "What really is being peed on?"
Is being peed on really that bad?
Now,
Here are the benefits.
To correct
being
the story, for everyone, he actually didn't get. It's supposedly. I hope this is the case. He didn't get beat on. The bed got peed on.
Bed, yeah.
That Obama, slept in. Which I don't know why so many people think this is out of the realm of impossibility for Donald Trump or for this whole story. Because you got a guy, essentially, who's trying to erase everything the man has ever done. And by that, Barack Obama as a legacy. I mean, every single thing. From the Iran deal to any single policy. I mean, rolling back policies so mentally, disabled people to get a gun. Simple emission policies. Anything Obama ever touched is like, plah. You just get this feeling like, man, you really hate the guy. So the fact that they say that specifically that this is what happened, that he went and pissed on, had the prostitutes piss on the bed, that totally sounds like something he would do. A narcissistic, egotistical person that hates another guy like that. It's been trying to erase the legacy of the only black president in American history.
Go all the way. He's like, after you're done peeing on the bed, you might as well just finish up on me as well. Hey, seriously. He's just like, are you done yet? Are you done?
He's like, you guys ever see Two Girls, One Cup? It's
have
tremendous.
You seen his hair? Have you seen the man's hair? Why is it yellow? Why?
Oh, Jesus.
That's a good question.
So, I don't know. Look, you got anything else for that one?
I'm genuinely dreading the day that if it is real and they leak it on the internet, it's like, oh great.
It will be on every television, every computer, everywhere. It will be on port. It will be on everything.
People when they look back at this era of history, people will be like, what was more significant? Was it that Barack Obama was the first black president, or that Donald Trump was the first president we saw his penis?
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, actually, to correct you, we have seen George Bush's. He does have a picture out there from his college years.
College years, yeah.
Yep.
That's out there. But
that is out there.
This is like no comparison.
I don't know if anybody's really seen it again. Like, I feel that Trump might very well become the first president that we all see naked, and I think we need to realize that. We need to come to terms with what that means for us as a people, and we need to realize that when that happens, we should just let the Russians take over.
Listen, if they take over, though, are we gonna get like a national P Day in America? Probably, hopefully.
Dude,
that'd be amazing.
Wow, I can't believe you brought that up. I want everyone to know right now. We came up with that right now. The day if he ever gets convicted for that P tape, it needs to be an anniversary day.
Anniversary, and hey, just
P-Day.
A total holiday where people are just like
peeing on each other.
What are you doing? P-Day. People are just peeing all over the place.
That's like last 2 years of Rome before it collapsed levels of awful.
I mean, you think it's awful. People are like, what is wrong with you? But hey, I mean, is it really out of the norm? I mean, honestly.
With this day and age, man, I don't think anything's out of the norm anymore.
And shortly before the entire country burst into flames, everybody
I don't know what you mean. Urination Day is part of my heritage.
Oh God.
So I don't know. Did you guys actually? Let's move on to a little something non-political. Did you guys see all that crap in Hawaii, man?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
See all that stuff, man?
Yeah.
Well, it's only half the island right now.
But it's growing.
Yeah, it's getting bigger, which is interesting. But you know, one of the things that struck me automatically, I thought though, is like, wow, with everything going on, this could set us into like, if it gets worse, all the ash, all the particles that will go in the atmosphere. I mean, it could dim the sunlight, make everything a lot worse.
A lot of people
for the planet.
for the ozone layer. That was one of the things people were talking about, but it got
Yeah.
stifled very quickly.
It's people are not talking about the ash plumes and stuff that are going in the air right now. I think that's devastating for crops and stuff. You know, they talk about like, you know, when Mount St. Helens actually erupted and stuff, it was felt, you know, on the other side of the planet because of the ash plume.
Yeah. I mean, it's tragic because there's really nothing you can do but just.
Well, no, that's an act of nature, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
You can't really do anything.
it's just interesting, you know, and they, you know, from what I read too, they had a good warning of it. They knew it was coming, but they didn't think it was going to be this bad.
Because supposedly it's just it was a act of random, like a meteorite that fell within it and kind of compressed the lava below the earth.
Really? I didn't hear that.
That just cracked. So it's not like a normal volcano explosion.
I know that.
There was a crack, a gigantic split within you know, one of the islands in Hawaii, and then lava just came.
Yeah, there was like
straight into the
300.
city.
Wasn't there like over 300 earthquakes? Yeah,
Yeah,
there
300,
were 300 earthquakes. Well, now they're dealing with more toxic ash and toxic, you know, well, lava and all the plumes of smoke and everything. I just think it's
So
I think it's crazy. It's something out of it's very surreal to see our planet act up like that. I think I think it's, you know, it's we don't ever get to see Mother Nature really kind of do devastation like that. I mean, yeah,
She's
I mean,
like,
we've
damn
seen
it.
a lot of floodings, you know, in the last years, but you know, the volcano. I just think that's really crazy.
Are these the super volcanoes? Is it
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
It's
when
happening,
Yellowstone
guys.
goes, man, I think that's gonna be the end
It's
of
the
all
super
of us.
volcanoes.
Yeah.
You're gonna do it.
But I don't know, you know, I think it's kind of funny though too, because isn't Hawaii like a lot, you know, made by lava rock?
Yeah.
Just adding to the island, baby.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I mean,
Just adding to the piling it up, man.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's kind of like California is like very, very hilly. It's all built off of earthquakes, and at any point the earthquake will swallow us whole.
Yeah, that's supposed to happen within a couple of things. Where California's just supposed to break away from the states.
And yeah, go chill with Hawaii.
That'd be so sweet.
California be all tropical.
Y'all see that car get consumed by lava?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was terrible.
that was
man.
nuts.
I felt so bad for that person. I was just like, you have to watch that slowly.
Okay, so Steve, actually, you had something you wanted to bring into the studio today too. You had something about Donald Glover, I think it was.
Yeah.
You were gonna bring something up.
I guess we can kind of conclude on this. It
Single
kind of
America.
ties in with the top of the show with the whole Kanye thing. Did you guys see Donald Glover's newest music video that he had? It's called "This Is America."
Oh yeah.
I did not see it actually.
Okay. So this is a very interesting. It's been getting a lot of praise and a lot of hatred.
Yeah.
It's a music video that portrays him, Donald Glover. His stage name is Childish Gambino.
Now they say I actually like his music.
Yeah, he's very, very good. I'm gonna just warn people right now. If you're not a fan of life imitating art, this is what it is. So,
Also, may I do a plug from the movie Mystery Team? That is an incredible
oh
film.
my goodness, yeah.
Anyway,
He's hilarious in that.
yeah.
Yeah, he's a jack of all trades. This guy. So it starts off with him basically kind of shucking and jiving, like straight up shucking and jiving. And
jiving.
he blows this guy's brains out who's just playing an acoustic guitar. And it starts off with him saying, "This is America." And the whole music video is symbolisms of riots and police brutality going on in the United States while people are consumed with pop culture. So as the police are beating up black people and killing unarmed civilians, he's basically just doing the latest dance moves and dancing along and being and smiling and killing people. Like there's a scene where there's a choir that's just singing and he walks in, he's dancing and he looks at them. He's like, "Oh, that's neat." And then he takes a gun, an AK-47, just guns them all down.
Really?
He says, "This is America." After
I'm gonna have
he
to
does
look.
it.
I'll check it out right now.
It's very interesting because the bodies just lay there while the gun that he shoots him with is basically carried away in a red cloth, like kind of almost praised, like as we care about.
Hey, that's been going on. Those evangelicals doing that out there, man.
He's shooting these people he's not getting any type of repercussion in the music video. The police are running right past him, right to the black people. It's a lot of symbolisms coming at you at all ends. I can't really get in all to them, but it ends with him basically running from the darkness and out of the darkness, I should say. And behind him are basically all the symbolisms in the black community, which are basically fat cat white people, an angry mad black woman. It's just the whole concept of the music video is so spot on to where everyone really doesn't care about what happens in the media. Like Charleston, for example, was a terrible thing, but people moved on like that. Las Vegas people mourned that for like what? Not even a week. They moved on like that. You know what I mean? Because of the new music video, new movie, or whatever came out. So it was about how America is so desensitized to violence that it's not even a thing anymore. It's like
we've discussed this on the show. The shock meter of America is broken right now.
Yeah.
The shock value is gone. You have a president that's so
warped,
divisive and warped. He himself, actually, I hate to give him this much credit, warps reality. He makes it seem normal. Makes all these crazy all these insane things he does, make it seem like it's normal. Like it's normal for the president to go after the press the way he does.
And people buy it.
Like it's normal for, the president to have so many conflicts of interest. Like that is normal.
Yeah.
People used to get on Jimmy Carter just because he spent like just a little bit of percentage, helping the American people. Jesus. And ran up the debt by 27.2%. Yet Ronald Reagan came in and jocked it up to 28.7%. And praised. Reagan is praised, and Jimmy Carter's not. Yeah. Even though Jimmy Carter added less to the debt than Ronald Reagan did initially in their first year, in their terms. First year terms, because Jimmy Carter only had one.
And that's so spot on because again, it's what is in that music video about what it is in America. This is America. We are basically desensitized as a community, as a country, to obscene amount of violence. I mean, the whole thing what happened with the march with the Nazis, right? That was a terrible event. Like that was something that should be.
There was good people on both sides. Okay,
both sides,
on both sides.
Both sides. There was good people on both sides, right? I mean, it's one of those things where people find it normal. You hit the nail on the head. People look at something like a Trump, and they're basically warping into his sense of a reality.
Yeah.
Like they're not living into the realistic society that they're living in.
No, because
they're living in his world.
Because you can put all the research out there that immigration is down. It's the most it's been in 17 years.
Right.
But people still think the Visigoths are at the fucking gates, and that somehow immigrants are just pouring and flooding into this country, and things are changing, and they're taking your jobs, and I mean that's just not happening.
But if someone tells you that it's happening, it's gonna happen. It's happening. I mean, that's why you get someone like an Alex Jones who's still on the air and being.
Hey! Oh, did you guys hear Alex? Well, I guess we should end the show a little bit with this. Well, real quick, Luke, did you want to add anything to that?
No, it was just like I really like the music video. I like this moment Donald Glover's having. It is kind of funny that it came right at the moment everybody hated Kanye, so I feel like I feel like on some level people are thinking, oh, we have a new one now, like that we can all love and make super famous.
We gotta save Donald Glover.
Exactly. It's like, oh, can we make Donald Glover Kanye famous?
I know. I love that. Like, oh, he's the new savior. It's like, you're right. The point.
All right. So I don't know if you guys heard what Alex Jones said recently. He said that that Donald Trump is basically standing up to AI that is out to kill us. That this AI program has already decided that it will have a non-post-human world. Yeah. And Donald Trump has stepped in and said, no, not on my watch, AI. Terminator, Cyberdyne Systems, not on my watch.
Oh my god, I'm loving the plot for
what happened to Alex Jones, man?
Man, Robert, being an InfoWars fan has to be amazing.
It used to be.
Alex Jones is literally telling his viewers that they live in Shadowrun right now.
Right? I mean, he might as well say they live, it's some kind of... The Middle Earth!
He's saying that literally Donald Trump is fighting a battle with with AI that's out to destroy us.
That literally have a plan that's already to have the destruction of
It's already
humanity.
it's already been
there.
decided, Steve. It's not even a means of discussion.
And Donald
They've
Trump
already decided.
Connor.
Non-post-human world. Post-non-human, whatever you want to say. Basically, humans are non-existent.
Dude, I can't believe Terminator was real.
It's gonna be like 9, man.
Oh my god, no!
Dude, odds on, is he really going to be in the next Terminator film? When he comes in there, he's just like, I have to tell you about the future. Come with me if you want to live.
Come with me if you want to live, Trump.
Also, vote in November.
I don't know, man. I just think Alex Jones is just... He's so incoherent, dude. He doesn't even make sense anymore.
No, he doesn't.
I don't know, man.
It's like when he's talking about liberals, he just throws out the most random shit. He's like, my God, they're just nothing but communists, Bolshevik-paid Nazis going against the will of the American people. It's like, are they Nazis or are they communists? Which one are you talking about?
I don't know
They're
what he's
both
thinking
now.
about anymore.
That's what
That's so funny. I think he's going to say that. I mean, you said it, but it might happen when he's going to be like Middle Earth.
But it's so. But his arguments are not even coherent now. It's just they're almost literally like, Donald Trump is standing up for you because everything else in the liberal media is bad. Because there is lizard people behind the scenes with the global elites, meaning the Jews, controlling everything.
I think these last couple of elections, starting with Bush, where, I mean, obviously he had always had the whole black helicopter stuff, but I feel when it started with Bush, he kind of, his momentum started to gain because, yes, there was
a lot of stuff going on.
There was a lot of stuff. And he was actually good on them.
Right.
He was right about a lot, yeah.
He's good on them.
He was right about points that, like, they were spying on us. And
they have secret run operations.
He also, what we're talking about, he also,
Alex Jones.
the government didn't cause 9/11. He was making the point that they were clearly like hiding things. I don't know what.
Yeah, they let it happen. He never, I'll even directly say, I watched Alex Jones for some amount of years. He always made the suggestion that they let it happen to further the means to get the Patriot Act through. And that, you can make the argument for, I believe. You can really make the argument they use 9/11 to push horrible agendas.
There's an argument there.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely the Bush administration got a little bit, and then it continued on, obviously, into the Obama administration. And it took a little bit more of a conservative bent because, obviously, a lot of conservatives started to get really anti-Obama.
Because, the first black man president, oh my God.
And that's when it started to change.
So he became increasingly conservative, and then along came Trump, and now he's kind of like latched on to the. So now, once again, his points don't make any coherent sense because you're talking about the deep state, if you're talking about all this, and your guy is literally the president of the United States with all the access. Like, how do you maneuver that situation? Like, how do you maneuver the fact that, like, Trump is infinitely more bad at this government and clearly more oppressive?
We've had this discussion before about, like, if there was any conspiracies, Trump would have already done it. We've already said this is what happens when you let your stupid friends run the government.
Yeah. So and again, also there came the fact that, like, he makes more money selling supplements, and then obviously the alt-right kind of latched onto him, I think, during like the later part of the Obama administration, because that's when they started to really gain momentum. And with Trump, so Alex Jones, at the end of the day, he is to a certain degree a savvy media man. So.
Oh yeah, I mean he sells, that caveman. Is that what it's called? That caveman.
His new audience is no longer just your garden variety conspiracy theorists.
No.
He's not even.
They're like evangelicals now.
Yeah.
It's crazy Bible thumpers.
It's certain elements of the conservative movement. Also neo-Nazis. Like, again, it's like he's trying to weave a web that kind of makes a coherent narrative.
So he can stay back.
Yeah, and it's also just the fact that he's just getting more and more outlandish with stuff.
Yeah.
Again,
he's not even speaking in coherent sentences anymore. He's just basically saying, my heart beats, I eat red meat, and
you should believe what I say, because it's conspiracy.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. Well, because by his own admission during his custody trial, he admitted, like, his lawyer said it was like an act.
But then he went right outside and said, it's not an act.
It's not an act.
I'm not an act. I'm the real deal.
I think he definitely also realized that other than just kind of doing the usual, like, telling, doing news items and whatnot, you realize that like his angry red face craziness that gets attention from YouTube. Like, here's the thing.
I always thought him stripping naked on camera would do it. Naked. Naked.
I'm not a big Alex Jones fan, but I've watched hundreds of Alex Jones.
Oh, they're priceless.
And he knows it. He knows it. Like he makes more money with the circus than.
Wow.
That's going to be the title of this video. Alex Jones makes more money just selling to the circus.
Ringling Brothers versus Alex Jones.
He's all about the show now.
Yeah,
He should be a
yeah.
Vegas act, man. I think I've said this like years ago. I was like, Alex Jones should be a Vegas act. He's that much of a personality and a gimmick to where people. You're totally right on that, Luke. Where people go, they go crazy when the guy starts yelling and he starts screaming. He gets animated. And he rips his shirt off and he's saying incoherent things. That's where he's at his strongest.
While being a total beta male in the process.
Yeah, right. I know, but that's the thing. It's
because I don't know if you've seen that video mashup of him talking about how Trump has a big cock.
What? No.
But it's out there. It's out there. Yeah.
It's there.
There's like a good mashup of like all these videos of Alex Jones defending Donald Trump's penis. So they always get at him by trying to say that he has small hands because he has a. Well, let me tell you, I stood right next to him, and it's not small at all. I swear to God, that might as well be what he said.
I think again, it also revolves around Trump because Alex Jones. I don't think Alex Jones in a million years ever thought he would ever get a direct line to the White House.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is it. Like, this is his peak. He probably has more followers than he's ever had. He has a direct line, not to just Trump, but obviously to all of his other political connections. This is his shot at the big time. Like, I mean, he's like, and I think he's trying to figure out a way to maintain that momentum. But obviously he was not prepared. That's why he's getting sued so much and throwing out so many, going so outlandish. I think much like Trump, he's in over his head because they didn't expect him to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Then again, he flipped on Trump recently, and then he acts like that didn't even happen. Like when he cried over Syria, like, oh my God!
That was the most
He's
awkward.
bombing them! Trump's just shitting all over!
Yeah, he's like,
I mean, at least that's consistent. I mean, I will give. I think both, to their credit, Alex Jones and PJW both were like, yeah, you shouldn't bomb Syria, and I'm like, well, broken clock, I guess. So, like it's always been weird. Some of these alt-right types who are like, we shouldn't be in war with the Middle East, and I'm like, why are you the only people that I can agree with on this?
Right.
This is
then you support a guy just because he's on the side of white supremacy. So even if you bomb Syria, I'll get over it.
Of course.
And then they want to sit there and say liberals never stick to their values. They only have one value, the double standard, or whatever the hell like Tommy Lauren likes to say.
No, it's all team sports, and I won't say that necessarily liberals are a little bit more internally
Oh
consistent.
no, they're just as bad.
I will just say that the Republicans are much more vocal about being consistent, even though they're not.
All right, so that's actually going to be the show because we actually got to wrap it up. So this has been the Minuteman Podcast. Listen, like, subscribe. This is your host, CT Rob, with the Dark Frenchman and CT Steve.
thank you.
And the Squid.
See you guys later.
And Lucas Maximus out in Cali.
Hey, y'all. See you. Good night.
And you guys have a great night.